Hello everyone. Today I'll be just walking through the CCC 2023 S1 question Trianglane. Mainly because it's the only one I actually knew how to solve for I think last Wednesday's competition. Yeah. It's also a J4 question as you can see. Um I know a few people who got stuck on this, so I'm just gonna make a quick tutorial on how you can solve this question. It's very easy, but Um, yeah, I don't know whether I have the most efficient answer to this, but it does work and it does clear through. I have, as you can see here, finished this. One is optimized, one is not. Anyway, so let's sort of go through this. So Bochi has finished construction on Relay's project, a pathway consisting of two rows of white triangular tiles. And then she spilled black paint on some of the tiles, so now she must purchase warning tape. So essentially, we're supposed to just see, okay, which tiles are wet, and then calculate how much warning tape she needs. So each side is 1 meter. These are equilateral triangles. So now let's see the input specification, which is one integer, which is how many columns. Then the two lines of which have, which ones are black and which ones are white, represented by ones and zeros. So the first thing we're going to be doing here is, well, first I gotta set up this. Okay, should be fine now. Okay, so yeah, I don't know if I can zoom in on that. But for this one, first we're gonna want to get our input. So we have C and then the two rows. So first we're going to go with C is equal to an integer input. We're going to convert it to an integer because input always saves as a string regardless, so as default, so we got to convert it to an integer. Then for row, each row we're going to do something a little bit um, more complex, I guess. So the problem with having an input, you're going to have to see every single um, element in that split up by space. So we would usually put string dot space. However, with this, the problem with a string dot, not string dot space, string dot split. So the problem with this is that each element will be stored as a string. So instead of just doing row 1 is equal to input dot string dot split, or input dot split, we're going to do integer n for n in input dot split. So what this code essentially does is splits up. First, we're creating a new list, and then inside we sort of have a shorthand for loop where we have an integer of n for n in input of dot split. So essentially, we're just converting every single um, element in the dot split list to an integer and saving it to this variable. So now we can just copy that, paste it, change the row. And then now we have all of our input. Oh yeah, and then we should probably set up um, our output. So we'll just make that, call it output. And then now we should be good to go. So first we will want to loop through our first row, right? See which ones are 1. So first we'll loop through, then have our first if statement. if a row is, if row 1, whichever element in row 1 we're on, so I is equal to 1, which signifies it's black paint, then we can put a new variable called M3. So this is, if the triangle was by itself and it was surrounded by white triangles, then we would have 3, obviously. So we would need 3 meters. So now, if we will have to first see whether the element of the triangle before it is equal to 1, because as you can see in this diagram, if we go even further, if it's connected to another triangle, then it's not going to need an extra sort of line of tape. So we got to make sure that every triangle beside it is white. So if the triangle that is essentially left to it is black, so I is not equal to. So first we gotta actually make sure that there is oh wait, no, this one is actually to the right. My bad. Sorry, I'm just looking at some reference code that I coded for the CCC because it was a couple days ago. But essentially, if to the right, first we gotta check whether we're at the last element in the list. So we'll just see, okay, is I equal to C minus 1 because range starts at 0, then goes up to C minus 1. So we'll check whether it is the last element in the list. Um, if so, if row is row 1, if not, um, then there's something to the right of it, so that means I plus 1 is equal to 1. Then we can say M, we should minus 1 from M. So how many meters of tape we need for that one square. Next is the opposite, where if there is something left of it. So for this one, it's a bit simpler, where we just check whether the element we are on is currently 0, because if it's under, if it's some if it's anything other than 0 or above 0, then that means that there's something left to it. There's a triangle left to it. But if it's 0, then there's no triangle left to it. So if so, or if it isn't, the first element in the list, then we can just say if row 1 I minus 1 equal to 1, then m is m is equal to 1. So now we're just checking, yeah, if it's black, then it's black. Now, there's something else we need to consider here. See, not every, since they're aligned in a way where not every triangle is going to have the same thing. Because, like, see here, if let's say there was you don't need tape for this area. You need tape here, and if this place was black, then you wouldn't need tape for this area. However, if we did the same thing for these two, right? It needs tape here, so 3 meters of tape. If this is black, it doesn't matter because it still needs 3 meters. But for this one, you need 2 meters because this area is covered. I do not know whether that makes sense, but essentially, triangles are aligned differently, so we need to account for that. And each triangle will, depending on where it is, will and how it's aligned, will affect how much tape we need. If the adjacent triangles are black as well. So for this, since list elements start at 0, so 0 would be the first element, then 1 would be the second. So therefore, every two elements will actually be an odd number, or the index will be odd. So now we'll just check if we'll just check the remainder. So I percentage to is not equal to 1. So that means if it's not odd, then we check if the row below is equal to 1 as well. If it is, then we just remove 1 from the amount we're going to need. So now here we have these 3 if statements. The first one checks whether there's something to the, if the triangle to the right is black. This one checks if the triangle below is, or triangle to the left is black. This one checks if the triangle below is black if we have um, a triangle that's aligned like this, where it matters if the triangle below is black. So now we just add total m is plus equal to, or not total m, what am I thinking? Sorry, is equal to m, which is meters. So now we can take this code, copy and paste it. It's essentially the same thing. It's just that we're going to change the row to the other rows. So if it's row 1, there's row 2 now. If it's row 2, it's now row 1. So now this just does the same thing, like this one. And then now you simply just print the output. If we copy this code over to Gmod, copy it over, submit it, you will see that we have pretty much everything. Yep, 15 out of 15. So that's how you do this question. It's quite easy once you sort of think it through. I would encourage you to try it out for yourself. I'm sorry if this wasn't clear. This was sort of a spur on the moment sort of thing where I just wanted to upload a video on how to solve this question. Um, yeah, happy coding. I will try to, maybe I'll figure out the other ones, but they were kind of bullshit. So, see ya.